Okay, hello YouTube. It's part 5 here of Lisa Marie State, doing my review and hopefully the final review of Kundun, because 15 minutes really is too short for a review on a detailed movie with a lot of history, I know. Uh, I am Lisa State here of the YouTube channel of Lisa State and Hitler Obsessed. Now we're gonna do part 5 of Martin Scorcesese's movie Kundun from 1995. It's about the life and times of the 14th Dalai Lama and the 14th Dalai Lama's flee and exile from Tibet to live in India, which is now his residence here at Phone in India, in Dharamsala. So so there's a bunch of other scenes of the Dalai Lama, in his listening to his prayer mumbles about, the atrocities of the Chinese government, which are stuff that I really would like to tell on YouTube, but I don't want to break any violations of guidelines like the fourth video seemed to kind of very close to the borderline right there. Uh, Not dealing with that on part 5, honey. Okay. Oh, there's another scene of his family members telling about the atrocities of the Chinese government. So the Dalai Lama eventually decides to go meet Chen Mao in Beijing, China. So there's of him traveling by a Tibetan kind of boat to raft there and a plane to Beijing, China, with a bunch of the Tibetan important government officials and ambassadors and him driving through China, and he's looking and seeing all the new technologies like communism, I guess, has to offer, and he's flicking around with a automatic, button for the windows to move up and down, and, unlock and lock the car door of the, I guess, limousine of car that's taking him to the Chinese Communist Party's governmental, I guess, Congress Hall or whatever I guess you would call it there to meet him personally. Uh, and eventually, and he's actually, the Dalai Lama is actually in his government attire that's kind of like Martin Scorcesese's government attire, since he is now head of the government there. And he eventually meets Chen Mao, giving his speech there. But before that, there's a scene of a bunch of Chinese kids singing in French there, Chinese Communist Party song praising Chairman Mao, now welcoming the Dalai Lama to the great motherland of China. And the Dalai Lama meets Chairman Mao, he has a couple meetings with him, and eventually there's a scene of him listening to another speech by Chairman Mao, and he thinks he's an okay guy, he seems great, wonderful, oh, he has good ideas. But there's another scene of Dalai Lama leaving his prayer beads that he received from that one Lama in the first video I made of View of Kundun that you can go see on YouTube. I'm not gonna put a link here. You have to find it on this channel. Do that yourself. So he goes off to the bathroom to use the restroom because he's gotta go, and he's using these the faucet with running water. Enjoying that wonderful technology. One of Chen Mao's attendants tells him that you forgot your little prayer beads here, and Chen Mao wants to see you personally, and eventually finds out Chairman Mao's devious ideas. Like, he doesn't want Buddhism around. He wants communism in Tibet, no matter what he thinks of his own mother that I guess he probably killed there, who is also Buddhist. That's what I thought my family members. I would want to find that out about the guy. I've read some books about Mao, and I kind of don't remember that part, but most likely it was. Maybe he did. I don't remember what. So not the best source on this guy. Remember, I'm the Hitler and Nazi history buff somehow. Only had two Chernobyl and communism obsessions, more Hitler and Nazi ones to enjoy on YouTube. Uh, so he ends up finding out that Mao doesn't even want Buddhism in Tibet, let alone him. He wants it all gone. For his ideology and people to worship him. Just like Hitler wanted the Fuhrer worshipped. Pretty much Hitler didn't even probably want Christianity if he was to finish off the Jews. Thank God he didn't finish that, because he would have went after the Christians. Read a bit about that in your history books if you want there. But yet again, I don't even know if Hitler was Catholic, Christian. I don't really care. I care more about what he did, and it was bad. I care more about what they do in life than their religion, their actions, and their faith, or whatever else. No political party or whatever. I care about the person's actions and character. So back to what I was saying. So there's another scene of his mother being sick because of the change in altitude in China. And she's in the hotel room sick, one of the Tibetan monks is checking her pulse, and just says, no, it's just the change in altitude, so it's fine. But no, when the Dalai Lama finds out about Chairman Mao's real intentions, Chairman Mao lets him go. He's like, oh, I'll write to you soon. No, bye. You can write back to me. I'll write back to you. I mean, we're just, well, pen pals. He never replies back to any of the Dalai Lama's letters about Tibet or anything. The guy was a two-faced jackal, knows the backstabbing words I cannot say here on YouTube. Things that could get me in trouble. But yet there's another scene of the 14th Dalai Lama and his government officials, arguing with a couple of generals, because General Tong turns up again, telling about the Tibetans keep singing about my gold watch, my Rolex. Like, the government's like, and just let them be, It's just a Rolex, put on a Casio or whatever on. Get your panties out of a knot. You're entitled to sip it. Well, I can't say here on YouTube. So, eventually there ends up becoming an argument between a couple of government officials, and General Tong of, about Chinese tea being brought to Tibet, and them just saying, what we drink, Indian tea, about, China's, communist flag being flown instead of the Tibetan flag, and the Tibetan officials like, no, we'll tear it down and place it with the Tibetan flag. So it's always this squabbling that's really not going to help for the Tibetan citizens. Since he got this advanced, powerful army that's beating up everyone, and squabbling is not gonna make anything better for the little guy. And Dalai Lama eventually comes up between them, says, chill it, put aside your differences, quiet down, I'm done. And then there's another scene where the Dalai Lama, after he comes back to Tibet from seeing Chairman Mao, Pumbo tells him, Chairman Mao never writes back to you. He never replies back to your letters. By the way, a bunch of, revolutionaries ended up getting killed, after a visit that the Dalai Lama made to see how the Chinese communists, were treating his home village, and his family members are just, trying to bring Tibetan customs, but still being told by the Chinese officials who pointed out the village, no, and the mother just cries to her son there, saying, I am so happy what Chairman said, but the Dalai Lama knows what's going on. He knows what's going on to his people. And it cuts back to him, pretty much in the village, they were brought, a bunch of, modern farm equipment there on bicycles. Those showing out pictures in the house they've been had in the Communist Party and probably still do in China. And the slogans of Chairman Mao in Chinese, and praising the guide to the heavens. But then the scene cuts to a bunch of villagers, being shot down by planes from, the Chinese communists, just being murdered on the spot as they're fleeing by the Chinese communists, who are just okay with killing innocent civilians there, which they're also throwing stones onto these Tibetans there, and this was, I guess, a part of also the Tibetan nomads that are part of the rebels there that are called Kampa warriors there, fierce warriors and nomads and rebels there. That were trying to stand up and fight for Dalai Lama, but ended up getting killed in the end by the Communist Party. Uh, but then there's a scene after he finds out about that in one of the parks there, uh, after he's been told that Chiang Mai is not flying back to in one of the parks, Golden Sail in the Dalai Lama's summer palace there. He has a bunch of visions, or dreams, I guess, at nighttime, that of all these dead monks surrounding him if he doesn't leave, as a warning, like, get the heck out of here, or else you're not gonna last long. And a lot of people are dying, and you need to think about your safety. And, just seeing what, China's doing to people, waking him up there, I guess, of the atrocities there and just how much of a dangerous situation he right now is in. Uh, and eventually a lot of him having to say goodbye to a lot of people that he's remembered over his years. And there's another scene of the fish dying in a pool of blood that's from a fish pond in Tibet, in the Dalai Lama's summer palace. And people that he's known saying goodbye to him, from when there was a servant there that played games with him and had fun with him when he was a kid to give him entertainment around at the Potter Palace. It's a very old little scene in the movie there. You'll get to see that in the movie. That's here on YouTube. Free. Free. You can go watch it. If you want, go watch it. Just seen all these spoilers here. Uh, and then and this scene is of him seeing his family members and loved ones and close friends in the parts in his life as the Dalai Lama there in Tibet, saying goodbye to him his family homes there. And he eventually ends up meeting General Tung comes back who's saying, no, the Liberation Army is here, and he just eventually stands up and says, the Buddha will save Tibet. The Buddha's gonna provide everything. We don't need you here. Get the heck out. Pack your stuff and go. Because he's eventually had it with them. With the Chinese communists, with the Chinese communists and Mao Zedong. He wants them gone. But he knows he can't get rid of them. So this will be the end of part 5 here, and now I will do part 6 soon, next, of review of Kundun. Hopefully that is the final video here. So you have, so like and subscribe to Lisa Stayed and Hitler Obsessed, hit the notification bell. Share these videos, leave a comment to any of my video in this video, donate to my Patreon and my subscribe song. You can send me a friend request on Facebook or leave me a comment on Facebook, visit my BitChute channel. Share any of these videos. I need a 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours to become monetized here on YouTube. So definitely let's make that dream come true and a reality,